the beginning to the end, I've definitely made a huge amount of progress, but it's been up and down during the whole entire time.
Well, Shira, I mean, I appreciate all of your knowledge. You have so much knowledge, and Vinny too. I really appreciate his knowledge. I do feel like, you probably, are really keyed into your system, and you do know what you have, and you have a strong ULA. There's a couple of other people with strong ULAs. I don't feel like that's the case for all of us. Myself personally, I don't think I have strong ULAs. I just know I just have might. And so it's like, I just want to just mention that because I do know like that is not going to be the case for everybody. Like that.
Right.
No, my question is this,
like, people can all live in the same household and not everybody is affected, but I think that there is something more primary than the mites that is causing the mites. I think that there's something else underneath it all. For me, it was strongoids. For some people, I think it's Lyme disease. I thought it was Lyme. I shared that positive for a couple of bands of Lyme. Maybe it's a mixture of like many things, because I am a true conspiracy theorist, and I definitely believe that they're trying to cause eugenics, and that's the reason why the CDC is not involved. That's the reason why the doctors don't know anything, is because the people that own the pharmaceutical companies are like way higher up, and they're trying to reduce the population to 500,000. And how else do you do that without people? If you're trying to get off that many people, millions of people, they definitely, if they were aware and they could point the finger at you, be dead. There's more of us than them. So it's like an insidious way of like reducing the population. That's my opinion. So I definitely believe that our immune systems are being assaulted on all fronts. It's making us vulnerable to many different parasites. It may not be strongoids for everybody. I've seen a lot of tapeworms, other like odd kind of worms. I definitely believe that the chemtrails are fungus that's like infecting us. It's almost like a slime mold that is like plastomycosis. It's like a jellyfish. It's very hard to get rid of, and it's in your body and your blood. I think that we all carry a lot of shit, like Morgellons. They did a lot of testing where they took normal, healthy people with absolutely no signs or symptoms of Morgellons, and they showed up positive for the antibodies of Morgellons. Well, all it takes is some sort of assault on your immune system, I believe, for you to start expressing that. And we've got, an assault on our air quality. We have an assault on our water. They're putting fluoride and chloride and all this shit in our water that we shower in, and it absorbs through our skin, our largest organ. I mean, we've got electromagnetic frequencies that are freaking toxic to us. Out of the whole spectrum of all of the energy that they could have developed these electronic devices at, they choose the most toxic frequency. And our light bulbs are killing us. We've got light bulbs that are called green energy saver light bulbs, and they're filled with mercury, and if they break, your house is a toxic dump. How many people know that their light bulbs are filled with mercury, and if they break, they're, going to poison themselves? It's not on the box. I certainly knew that about my thermometers when I was a kid. So our clothes, the cotton that they treat with freaking the stuff that one drop will kill a human being, and the largest producer of cotton, Uzbekistan, is the only country in the world that this stuff is not illegal, and they douse our cotton in it, and then we can put it on our bodies. And not only like the poison of that, on our bodies, it's also that poison is causing mutated insects. So I've heard about people saying that they caught these scabies or whatnot, mites, some sort of infestation, after buying and wearing a brand new shirt. And the belief is that they had these like mutated larvae in their cotton that infested them. And nothing will kill them because they've been exposed to this like highly toxic poisonous insecticide. We're fucked. I mean, I really feel like people are not like, it's almost like what's the word? Like you have a symptom, and that's all anybody's looking at. It's not one symptom. It's like somebody's coughing, but say they're surrounded by smoke and pollen and everything else, and all they're doing is saying, "I'm coughing," and they're taking a cough drop. And they're not looking around them and being like, damn, this room is smoky. Wow, I'm allergic to this plant. You know, like none of the other things that are actually causing it. I think that we're all being attacked, our immune systems, and we've been made vulnerable to these things. And that's why we're suffering. And the suffering is way greater than just us. I promise you, because for a living, I review patients' charts. I make decisions on people's health care. I push the yes button or the no button. So from all over the country, I'm reading patients' charts, at least 50 patients a day that I see, that I make decisions on their health care. And when I browse their charts, because the doctors have to submit everything in order for me to have all the information I need to base my, decision on, I am seeing so many comorbidities, past medical history, history of present illness, where they're like, okay, the patient has Crohn's, the patient has multiple sclerosis, the patient has idiopathic neuropathy, this patient has pain in their left eye, and the patient has dermatitis, eczema, psoriatic arthritis, like all of these things that we have. And they're being called something else, treated separately. And I'm sitting there like in total shock and awe going, man, these guys have parasites and they're fucking dying. Wow.
Sure, why is it that when I went to the doctor, he refused to believe I had scabies because it wasn't on my fingers? He refused to believe it.
They're idiots. I'm telling you, like,
Exactly,
they're brainwashed. I think they've been brainwashed and
they're not brainwashed. They're just not properly educated in certain cases.
Well, they're not properly educated. They've been brainwashed with the diagnosis of delusional parasitosis for anybody. It's almost like, to me, it's the cover-up. It's the cover-up diagnosis for what's really going on here. When you dig very deep and you actually want to go down the rabbit hole. It is what they've trained these people to think when anybody comes in with anything that might implicate what is actually happening here. Delusional parasitosis.
So that's the hardest part about this, is that somebody could look at me. Right now, I'm covered in sulfur, and I'm covered in cling wrap, so I can actually lay down and not get sulfur all over my bed. And you could look at me and think that I'm a fucking whack job, okay? And someone could send me to a mental ward, and I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid.
Oh, yeah. Because my God, I honestly used to smoke pot. I used to love to smoke pot. But when all of this shit started happening, I was like, I have to be squeaky clean because they're gonna look for anything to shut me down. You know what I mean? So I go into the hospital and tell them that I have worms and this and that, and I'm a doctor, a pharmacist, and if somebody actually knows that I know what's going on and they know what's going on, yeah, all I have to do is drug test me and I lose everything.
Well, the question is this, Stuart. What is your doses for albendazole? You said you've been taking albendazole. How much are you taking and when are you taking it?
10 milligrams per kilogram, and so I weigh like 115, so I've been taking 500 milligrams at bedtime with my largest meal, and I take it at bedtime because it causes such a huge die-off that I try to sleep through it. So I eat, it's best absorbed with a high-fat food. So I take that, I take some Benadryl, and then I try to sleep through it.
But you're taking Alben?
Fenbendazole.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. She said albendazole. Yeah,
that's pretty much the standard with albendazole, though, right?
Right, except for I believe that the things, the medications that are approved for human use are way more toxic than what these people who have orchestrated this whole thing want to treat the animals that they eat.
So you're saying that treatments for animals are cleaner than for the treatments for humans, or is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, all you have to do is take your animals to the vet and you see that they get way better health care than you do. They get tested for
The reason why I was thinking, because I still have a half a bottle of that Valpazon, which is albendazole, but it's oral suspension.
Mhm.
I was taking it probably like 2 teaspoons every 12 hours, but it was really getting me sick. I was only able to take it probably for 2 weeks. I don't know. I gotta look at the bottle.
It's like 100 milligrams twice a day for a couple of
What,
days.
2 teaspoons? I would have to look at it. I'll have to look at it.
Shira, what's your take on mebendazole, which is a Vermont? Remember we talked about that a little bit?
Yeah. I think that if I had not found bendazole through Benny, I would have ended up doing the bendazole. I think that it does have good blood-brain barrier penetration. So if you have something that you want to actually treat outside of your GI tract, that it is a good option. I think Nicole used it, and she got really good results. I haven't done it myself. I know that she had said that there were some good studies where it was safe and effective for children even. So if I had not ended up doing the bendazole, I would have done the bendazole versus albendazole. I don't think that albendazole
is very toxic. I wouldn't take it. Because I had just mailed some to Nicole. I was going to mail some to Jojo. I have to get my ass to the post office. But do you have a source where you bought some yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I posted the pharmacy link. I posted it in several different places, but it's called My Pill Box.
Oh, that one. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's where I got it from.
Thank you.
And they got really priced, as I've noticed when I compare them from other people, and the shipping. I think if you order over a certain amount of dollars, it's free, and it's from, I believe, India, but every time I've ordered it and done the expedited shipping, I get it in a week, and it's free because I buy it's over $200.
That's amazing. So, I mean, do you think that could? I know that Nicole just used it again because I just mailed it to her and she had a good result with it. Do you think that could work for scabies? I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, is that what Nicole was taking it for scabies? For mites?
All kinds of parasites. She's had worms coming out of her skin. I know that she's been dealing with it, but like I said, I really, in my heart of hearts, feel like the mite thing is way deeper than the mite thing. So whether or not it's rhomboids or whatnot, I think that a multifaceted approach is necessary just to address whatever other parasite issue, bacteria, mycoplasma, fungus, whatever else is going on inside of you. Because if all you're taking is stuff to kill mites, I don't think you're going to hit everything else that is causing the mite.
What do you think about ingesting turpentine for combating fungus and all that? You know, you go on YouTube and a lot of people are using.
I've never tried it, and I do know that some bendazole is actually made from turpentine.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and turpentine actually comes from the pine tree, so in a way, it's like the natural extract. But, so is digoxin, which will stop your heart, from the digitalis tree. They used to stick it on their arrows and shoot people. It's the reason why, I know a lot of people are all about herbs and very adamant about that, but herbs can be just as dangerous and just as toxic. So none of these are clear-cut answers. None of these are black and white. You really got to weigh the risks against the benefits and just make educated decisions, because you can't blanket statement anything. It takes a lot of thought, a lot of reasoning, a lot of thinking. And I know, like, for me, especially in the beginning, I wanted to be lazy as far as thinking and figuring everything out and delving deep, and that did not help. It just is a very multifaceted issue that you can't just like blanket. Okay, well, this one drug is going to fix everything for everybody, and it even differs so much. We all have our issues, diabetes, blood pressure. Just everybody has their own medical issues that only they really know about that well. And I believe that everybody truly is their own healer. And I think that it's very important that everybody takes the time to research things themselves, because what works for me may, not work for another person because they've got liver damage or their kidneys aren't working, or, they've got other issues going on that I don't know about, or that I'm not aware of, or that just people really need to follow the hearts with this. And that's really, I think, what has been most effective for me, because I think deep down, we all have a healer inside of us. I don't know how religious or spiritual everybody is, but I have found that, like, when I follow my gut with something, before I even know why I bought something, or before I even know the reason why I even used it, it's like I realized later, like, wow, God totally put that in my hands. Like, I've had things that I bought at the store that I didn't use, and then later on, in a moment of just, like, panic or whatnot, I was like, oh my gosh, I have that, I'm going to use it. And then I used it, and then it worked, and it was like, holy crap. Like, why didn't I use that way before? But I was being too logical, thinking, okay, you know what I mean? Just sometimes we really need to follow our guts with some of these things, and listen to the spirit inside of us, and let it guide us into how to treat our bodies and cure ourselves, because there is an intuitive power, I believe, within all of us that is going to, like, take us to where we need to be.
Well, I totally believe in what you're saying, if there's pretty much one parasite, there's probably many others too. You have to combat it, get meds and everything, because I've been fighting this since 2014, 2013, and I've ingested so much ivermectin, it's not even funny, and I still haven't got rid of it. Not also including albendazole and moxidectin. So I'm totally like saying, what, there's probably other junk that I probably need to, fight. Strongoids, I don't think it's got strongoids, but I think in order to combat strongoids, ivermectin is pretty much for strongoids too, right? So I think with all the ivermectin,
be able to put that, but you also have to remember that I have come to the conclusion that a lot of the things, especially the FDA and the trusted sources, quote unquote, that I used to always rely on, was nothing but propaganda, okay? Because I used ivermectin for my scabies, and obviously that does not cure my strongoids, right? So, and when I told my doctor today that I'd be taking ivermectin, he was like, well, you should be better. And I was like, well, no, I'm not. And so meeting Zenny was really great, because he went through the whole Mayo Clinic, got treated by, the standards of care, the guidelines, and they almost killed him. And then he went home to his mother, who's a veterinarian, and was curing her horses of strongoids and parasites. And she treated him with her veterinary medicine, and she cured him. He's better. He's not dying.
wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty big, and that was a big reason why I tested him, because as a mother, for my children, that would take a lot for me to jump off the ledge like that and give my children animal medicine, which I'm doing now because of his story and what he shared with me, and he has the research to back it up, and my whole conspiracy theory, because now I'm like, yeah, I'm sure the government says ivermectin cures this and 2 days is that, and I'm like, no, what they're doing is taking away the symptoms for a day or two. Because doctors will be like, okay, you're cured, and then you walk away. You think you're cured, and then a year later, you're in the same exact freaking situation because you're not really cured. And there's no information anywhere in any of the published studies for humans or anything about long-term treatment of steroids, which is the autoimmune infection, and can continue for freaking decades. And they think that taking a pill for 3 days once and then another time, maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, is going to cure it? Are you fucking kidding me? But when they do the test for this shit, it comes up negative. If it's less than like 0.3 micrograms per liter, which means you can have it in your system. You can have it and be carrying it. But if it isn't at a higher level, they're going to say you're negative. What the hell is that? That's why we're all getting negative back.
Well, just like I heard it saying there's $1 million horses, but there's not $1 million people. So.
Yeah, well, who owns the $1 million horses?
Right.
Who has access to this kind of quote-unquote care studies medicine, and why would they be hiding it from us? I feel like it's a huge cover-up.
Well, I'm definitely going to start using the Trippi protocol.
I honestly, because I was about to try it myself, and I had already ordered the benzosol. I was already looking into the turpentine. And like I said, it's one of those things where you really just got to go with your gut on it. You got to, pray about it and see where God takes you, because there is a true healer inside of all of us that knows exactly what to do.
You don't have symptoms like some of us where you feel like might coming out of you crawling, or yours is
I feel it. I feel the crawlers. I have the pinpricks. I just have never actually seen something come out of my skin. But like I said, I sat and dug at something in my knee before I even knew that any of this had happened. Like, I've pulled things out of me that I thought was that's weird. Why do I have a clear, long hair coming out of this core,
Right.
I've had random shit like that, or thought it was ingrown hair, or thought I saw something black that I tried to pick it out. I mean, that's been going on for years. Like I said, I Crohn's diagnosis 7 years ago. That wasn't Crohn's. I think that was the beginning of my parasitic infection.
And for a lot of people out there, they don't really think about having parasites. They just live their lives, and
they thought about it.
Well, a lot of people are uneducated about it, so if they get sick, they think, well, they go to the doctor to get treated for whatever, but I honestly truly believe that there's a lot of people out there that...
How come everybody knows who Christopher Columbus is and knows the whole, and still calls Native Americans Indians because Christopher Columbus was so dumb he thought he was in India? Why is everybody still being told that, but nobody knows anything about parasites? Please, understand that there is a bigger picture here.
You live down near the CDC in Atlanta.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And I found the guy that used to work for the CDC, and he retired, and now he owns his own private lab and tests for all the things that we all need tests for. and I wanted to go there and get some tests done to figure out what the hell I have. But he will only do it with the doctor's order. How the hell did he get that?
Is he a proctologist?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, he's a proctologist.
Yeah,
they could probably
like Parasite Lab. I think he's in Tucker, Georgia. He's like within 30 minutes from me, which is really frustrating.
Wow.
Really frustrating. Yeah.
What we need to do, listen, what we need to do is we need to find somebody in one of these groups who's a core,
You know?
Right.
Like,
Right.
I've had random shit like that, or thought it was ingrown hair, or thought I saw, like, something black that I tried to pick out. I mean, that's been going on for years. Like they said, like, I Crohn's diagnosis 7 years ago. It wasn't Crohn's. I think that was the beginning of my parasitic infection.
And for a lot of people out there, I mean, they don't really think about having parasites. They just live their lives, and
It was
so a lot of
they thought about it.
well, a lot of people are uneducated about it. So if they get sick, they go to the doctors, get treated for whatever, But I honestly truly believe that there's a lot of people out there that.
How come everybody knows who Christopher Columbus is and knows like the whole, and still calls Native Americans Indians because Christopher Columbus was so dumb he thought he was in India? Why is everybody still being told that, but nobody knows anything about parasites? Please, understand that there is a bigger picture here.
You live down near the CDC in Atlanta.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And I found the guy that used to work for the CDC, and he retired, and now he owns his own private lab and tests for all the things that we all need tests for. And I wanted to go there and get some tests done to figure out what the hell I have, but he will only do it with the doctor's order. How the hell did he get that?
Is he a proctologist?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, he's a proctologist. They could probably
like Parasite Lab. I think he's in Tucker, Georgia. He's like within 30 minutes from me, which is really frustrating.
Wow.
Really frustrating. Yeah.
What we need to do, listen, what we need to do is we need to find somebody in one of these groups who's a goddamn doctor, okay? There's got to be somebody. There's got to be somebody somewhere that's a doctor in one of these groups that we know, and maybe they can help us. Maybe they can write up a thing to order a test for JoJo, and you send it to the place, that guy that you know. You send the sample to him. I don't think it's on
Well, the thing is,
doctor.
okay, so the thing is not everybody knows that. But there is no real database for okay, we have a doctor's prescription, and now we're going to run it through and verify that this is a real doctor and he can really write a prescription. I'm a doctor of pharmacy. All doctors have something called the National Provider Identification Number. That's actually how they sell insurance. I have an NPI. The only reason why I didn't try this for myself is because, I don't want to get caught. I mean, I can't order it for myself because they're going to be like, oh, you can't order. Just that's, not ethical for doctors to order their own tests and whatnot. But I would like to try to see if I can get away with ordering some labs for somebody using my NPI. Because it doesn't show up on their database, okay, this is a doctor of pharmacy. If you have an NPI, you have an NPI. Like this.
Right. So yeah.
And I can't order tests. I work at the hospital. I order labs there all the time for patients. I get cultures. I, check their kidney function. I put in all sorts of orders. So you might bring a little suspicion if, I'm ordering labs for me and my kids. That's when I think it might bring something into question. But if I were able to, order something for somebody totally random, it might actually work.
Right.
And then, how much would it probably cost to see this pathologist that you're talking about?
He has prices on his website. Like, he has a list of the prices. I think like one certain lab, most of his labs are like specific to a parasite. Some of them are $80. I think they range up to $300 each, depending on the test.
So my next question
I
is,
was
one
looking at it,
thing,
and I was like adding up, so I was like, I need to get tested for all of these things, and I think it came to like $1,500, and that would have been like for 20 different tests.
so my question is this: once the tests are run and you find out what you have, pretty much what you have, whatever's the next step, does he prescribe the medications to you, or do you have to go back to your doctor?
Yeah, then you have to do your test back to your doctor. And that's the problem here, is that our doctors, and not only are doctors not trained to know what to treat things, the FDA indications and dosing and labeling and the products that are out there they're not viable. It's not stuff that's actually going to treat anybody. There is no science behind this, which is why I was so thankful to talk to Vinny, because he is my case study. He is like my case report. He is the one that I'm like, okay, this works for you. That's what I'm going to do. And in my research at work and whatnot, that's how I approve and deny claims, because if they give me, like, a diagnosis and a certain medication and it's not covered, if I can find one positive citation, one human being.
Yes, it's really, really interesting, the stuff that she was actually talking about and everything. The bottom line is that we fly out to Atlanta, go to the CDC, talk to somebody, and
I don't know if we can just waltz in there. That's the thing. Like,
we're not going to be able to. The more likely it'll kick us out, or just give us to run around. We just have to find the right individual that we need to talk to. Once you find the right individual that we need to talk to, and if we can convince this person, hey, look, we're not the only one that's suffering from this madness, but you literally have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of other people that's going through the same madness, we all need help. We need, how do we convince, a government agency to make something like this a priority? Will they make it a priority? Well, or if not, we have to find some type of solution that's not just going to work for us, but for everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to get cured. Of course I want to get cured. But I don't want to get cured and then run to somebody else down the line in a year later that's totally infected. And guess what? It infected me again. And it was just a random person that was out here in the city of Los Angeles. So, what is it cost? Think about it. I'm at the pharmacy out here in Hollywood. I run into another person that has crusted scabies. You see what he looked like from his legs down. It's horrible. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, wow. But see, had I not had this crap, I would have never known what he had. You know what I mean? You know as much as I do.
His hands on the counter in that picture. You should not even be touching the counter.
Right, I know that. And with somebody that infected, the next person that comes along and touches that counter, he's leaking mites. Next person that comes along and touches that counter, they're infected. Or the person that's working at the pharmacy, you know what I mean? But people are not properly educated because they're not letting people know the truth. The public transportation, once again, like I said, out here in Los Angeles, the public transportation does not clean the seats. They do not wash down the seats of the buses or the subways. You know what I mean? So you have infected people that sit down on these, on these seats, whether it's the bus or subway, or the trains, and there's people that's getting infected. It's not a big thing. They're not making it a big thing. The media's not talking about it. The public's not talking about it. Because I'm assuming because they don't want people to know, because, you think about it, New York and Los Angeles, the big cities, So how many people that are in the same situation that you're in right now in New York? Oh, you're not the only one. Trust me, you're not the only one. I'm not the only one. I mean, after,
Yeah.
running into that person with Christmas babies at the pharmacy, I know I'm not the only one in Los Angeles that's suffering from this madness.
Yeah.
You have hundreds of people that's also combating this too, but it's not publicized. It's
So,
what?
make sure there are no bird's nests in the trees where I'm at. Although on the other side of me, they got a bird feeder, but that's not affecting me, and I was worried about that. But I've done pretty good. I'm just doing what I did. I did my last ivermectin round. I did it like for 2 days, and then I was off and did like for 3 days. I took like a teaspoon of I went through Crystal Trip. She will send you a sampler of what she does with her wild crafting herbs. She'll mail that out to you off the Dis-Ease Solution product page or website. If you want that, just IM me and I'll send it to you. I've given it to several people like Tammy and Nicole and somebody else and Dustin, which is that other lady. But anyway, that way you kind of have an idea of what's in the product. But I spread everything I do. I spread it out. If I'm going to take medicine at night, or guess what, in the morning I'm taking something herbal. I'm not going to have it where it's going to be taken in close time frame, like 4 hours. I make sure it's like 8 hours or something the next day. Something that I know I'm not going to be having a reaction with that or with my regular medicine, because I still take my blood pressure and cholesterol right now. Another thing that does help is the pool. Swimming. I don't care if you just sit there. I just got out of water aerobics. I was doing water therapy. So now I'm moving to water aerobics. I'm doing that next week. So that is another thing to help kill down the population. That just getting out, breaking a sweat. You'll know when they're there. You'll know how many you have when that stuff is going on. And it's just really, I'm like getting like 3 or 4 bites or whatever here and there, but I still know that these things know how to fight, because they go in a fight or flight mode. with that cycle, if you don't know when you are getting your hatching, then you don't know when to spray 3 or 5 days before, or how to just set up your sequence of what you got to take. You got to know when they're hatching on you, and as you do that, you'll see the population in your bites go down. You know what I mean? You'll know that you're getting it. And that's what I did when I was in the other apartment last year. I said, I have to see when they're biting me the most, because when that next day comes, that means that's in their hatching cycle. And what you try to do, you try to prevent them from laying those eggs in you. If that means you have to take it for 2 days straight and then maybe take a Fin-Bin or something and push them out or whatever. I'm trying to go over where I do not use the ivermectin so much, but use it in conjunction with natural, because eventually I think I'm going to totally move over with the natural because of your cousin or relative when she was talking about the quercetin pills that she used, which is the real source of permethrin that they use. Look, the cream is a joke. It's 1%. It's 1%. 1% ain't helping none of us in this battle. I'm telling you, you got to go 5 or 10, learn how to double that mess, leave it on for a couple hours. Not a whole lot, though. Not a whole lot, because what you do, I noticed with ivermectin, even if you put it on topically, you will wake up the next morning drained, tired, exhausted. You have to drink tons of water. This stuff, your skin is your third lung. So your best bet is get your water and start sweating it out. I'm telling you, just do everything that you can do. Another thing I've done in my cars is I spray that car, wait a couple of days. If I'm tired of spraying, I will put down the Cemexa or the Borax, vacuum it out every other day, and then I'll come back at nighttime. Like if I'm done that week and I say, okay, I'm not going to spray next week or for another week, I will leave that pest strip. I will leave that pet in the front seat and one in the back seat and give it 2 or 3 days to suck them down and kill them, whatever, and just try to give yourself a little break in between in your cars or whatever. If it's upstairs in a room that you can rotate to, try to treat that room and stay out of that room, for a week or 2 or whatever. I'm downstairs in this apartment on the air mattress, so I will be here and keep spraying, and then maybe I'll rotate and go upstairs as soon as I know that it's a much lower population, and I can finish treating downstairs a little bit more with the pet strip. Because those pet strips work. I don't care if you're getting a place to stay out. That pet strip is your key, and putting your clothing. I took the trash bin. Went to Walmart, got a generic trash bin and a storage bin. I put that clothing down in water in the Rid-X, and I tell you, I ended up leaving there 2 weeks, and that stuff was clear. Those clothes were so clear, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But another thing I'm thinking is if you spray with the permethrin and then put it in a tub, it's got to get clear, and then you go and wash it. Bam, and then put some brown bottle Lysol, or you can use the vinegar. And people say, okay, don't use the vinegar, don't use them all together because it lets off the deadly gas. But we're all grown. I'm all for anything that will kill the MFers, okay? So you don't have to do what I do, but I will use both of them. Let the machine get moving, put it in the soda or the borax, and then I shut it off, and I will let that stuff sit overnight, because guess what? You're going to die. You've got to go. You got to go. I'm taking back my authority. You have got to go. And what we do not know and what we don't understand is I realize more and more. I've had 3 TBIs in the past 6 years from an original injury that took me off a job. Because some of us have nerve damage or candida or whatever has gone wrong in the body, that is the reason why you could feel them. Even if it's due to nerve damage or the crawling and the biting. Some people get the bites and they can't see or understand what's going on. My son is like that, and I had to tell him. I had to look and check him and tell him he still got them. He's living in a whole other place, and we didn't know. It took 3 years to come to surface to figure this stuff out. So they slowly evade your body and your system, and they slowly break you down. Another thing I would like to do is try some other lady on the regular go. She gets me vitamin C with sea salt. Drink that in the water, and that kind of flushes and puts you back to stasis. I haven't tried that yet. We really, as a group, I love that you have this group, have this podcast. But for all of us that are struggling, I am willing to help, because here's what I think we really need to sit down and list. We need to become a force that says, okay, this is what you do in your beginning stage, this is what you do in your intermediate stage, and this is what you do in your advanced stage. Some of us are still pretty infested, and it's hard to get that population down. Let me tell you, and some of us have been reinfested 2 or 3 times. I have, and as you get reinfested 2 or 3 times, it gets harder to bring that population down. It really is like how the hell am I going to get rid of it? How am I going to get this back down again? And you just keep working at it. Like the next person, you don't give up. And I think some of us, we try things for a month or 2 months and we just give up on it. You got to keep the rotation of trying different things. So my tackle plan now is to continue to let myself soak,